On August 8, 1963, a British mail train carrying pound 2, 3 million disappeared in the dark, and the men who took it nearly got away with it. Now here's where most accounts stumble. Historians call it the crime of the century. They're half right. Yes, it was audacious. Yes, it was organized. But the real story isn't about how they pulled it off, it's about why they failed to stay free. That's the part that matters if you want to understand how even brilliant criminals leave traces. So what exactly happened on that August night near Buckinghamshire? A gang of 15 men, led by Bruce Reynolds and organized by a career criminal known only by his nickname, stopped the Glasgow to London Royal Mail train. They knew, through inside intelligence, that the train carried cash, mostly in used notes, impossible to trace. The operation took just 13 minutes. No one died. No shots were fired. By those metrics alone, it was a textbook heist. But here's the first crack in their plan, the one nobody talks about. The driver, a man named Jack Mills, was hit on the head during the robbery. Not fatally, not even seriously by the standards of the time, yet that single blow would haunt the case for decades. Mills became sympathetic. The public wanted justice, not just recovery, and that sympathy, it changed the entire investigation. The gang split the pound 2, 3 million, roughly pound 154,000 per man in today's money. Substantial, yes, but not enough to disappear cleanly, and that's where psychology enters the equation. These weren't sophisticated money launderers. They were working-class criminals with working-class habits. They rented safe houses. They bought cars they spent. Now, skeptics might argue, couldn't they have simply kept quiet? Stayed low? The evidence suggests otherwise. Within days, police had identified the crime scene using tire tracks and witness testimony. The investigation, led by Detective Chief Superintendent Tommy Butler, became a manhunt. And manhunts, unlike robberies, don't require the perpetrator to make a mistake, they require the system to make none. The gang's first major error, they chose Leatherslade Farm as their hideout. It was isolated, private, perfect for counting money and laying low. The problem, they left fingerprints everywhere. On playing cards, on bottles, on the Monopoly board they played while waiting. Fingerprints don't lie, they don't forget. And in 1963, they were still the gold standard of identification. Some accounts claim the gang burned the farm to destroy evidence. Others say they simply abandoned it. What matters is this: police found it anyway, and the forensic yield was extraordinary. One by one, arrests began. Charlie Wilson, Ronnie Biggs, Roy James. Each one had a story, a reason, a justification. None of it mattered once the fingerprints came back positive. But here's where the narrative gets interesting, and where it challenges the official account. Some gang members did escape. Ronnie Biggs fled to Brazil. Bruce Reynolds lived on the run for years in France and Canada. By the measure of immediate capture, they failed quickly. By the measure of long-term freedom, the story's more complicated. Biggs remained in Brazil for 36 years. He fathered a child there, he lived a life. Yet the mythology around him, the idea that he got away, obscures a harder truth. He was always looking over his shoulder. He couldn't return home. He lived in exile, not freedom. There's a psychological cost to that, one that money can't fully purchase. The trials that followed were sensational. 12 men received sentences ranging from 20 to 30 years. Others received shorter terms. The public watched closely. The judge, Justice Edmund Davies, handed down verdicts that shaped British criminal law for decades. His sentences sent a message: organized crime would be punished severely, regardless of method or sophistication. Now the counter-narrative exists. Some argue the sentences were disproportionate, that the gang's nonviolence should have been weighted more heavily, that compared to murders and assaults, this was a victimless crime. The evidence doesn't support that view. Jack Mills, the driver, suffered lasting psychological trauma. The public's sense of security was shaken. Crime, even bloodless crime, has victims. So what made this heist different from other robberies? Not the money, not the method. It was the psychology of the participants. These were men who understood logistics but not discretion. They could plan a train stop but not a new identity. They could steal pound 2, 3 million but couldn't resist spending it. The forensic revolution was just beginning in 1963. Fingerprints were reliable. DNA didn't exist yet. Phone records were manual. But even with those limitations, the system caught most of them. The ones who escaped, Biggs, Reynolds, a handful of others, did so through geography and luck, not criminal genius. They ran to countries with weak extradition treaties. They waited for public interest to fade. Years later, most of them came back. Biggs was deported in 2001 as an elderly man. Reynolds eventually returned to England. They served their time or lived in diminishing freedom. The money, what remained of it, was spent, seized, or lost. In the end, they had the temporary thrill of the heist but permanent consequences. The real lesson here isn't about how to commit a perfect crime. It's about why perfect crimes don't exist. The Great Train Robbery succeeded tactically but failed strategically. 15 men couldn't keep a secret. They couldn't resist spending. They couldn't erase their fingerprints from the farm. They couldn't anticipate the forensic revolution that would follow. So did they evade capture? Some of them for a time. Did they escape justice? Almost none of them. The question that matters is this: was it worth it? The evidence, their lives afterward, their years in prison, their exile, their eventual returns, suggests the answer is no. The heist made headlines. The aftermath made lives. The Great Train Robbery remains a masterclass in how organization alone doesn't guarantee success. You need discipline. You need patience. You need to resist human nature. And that's where these men failed, not in planning, but in execution. Not in the heist itself, but in what came after. The robbery took 13 minutes. The consequences took decades. Subscribe. Every week we expose the psychology behind how criminals get caught, from fingerprints to finances.